This is the Stammlager 326 and its detention center. Testimonies of a horrible time and of the cruel treatment of Soviet prisoners of war. When the Stammlager was established, the prisoners were forced to sleep outside and build their barracks where they later were imprisoned. A witness, namely the Soviet military doctor Larin, writes,
An SS officer was seated in an armchair in front of a desk. At a distance of 3 meters there was a circle drawn on the ground, where the prisoner had to stand. On his right there was an interpreter, a German, wearing gloves and brass knuckles on his hands. They asked me why I believed in the victory of the Russian army. I responded by answering, I'm a Russian and I want Russia to win the war. History teaches us that Russia is invincible. After that, they hit me hard on the side. I collapsed and fell. They continued to beat me, but now kicked me with their feet.
The hygienic conditions in the camps were really poor. There weren't any sewers for the camps. The prisoners of war only had access to pit latrines. As a consequence of these hygienic deficits, many epidemics and diseases broke out. One prisoner after the other died as a result of the plagues. The hospitals were crowded. Moreover, the prisoners already were really weak because of hunger, dehydration, and circulatory failures, with the result that they had no chance to survive. Staziknov writes about this time.
I was in box 7, where the living conditions were very poor and the supervision was horrible. The rooms were filthy. There were many bugs and fleas. We could hardly sleep. During the summer we slept outside on the ground. It was forbidden, and the guards would shot of these men and killed many of them. There were no toilets. Thus the rooms were dirty. The clothes was very old and in a really poor condition. Each prisoner got only a liter of water a day. The water was so dirty that it was undrinkable. There were many who had diarrhea. The prisoners were harassed and tortured. Ivanovich was particularly cruel with many men. He beat them with a stick or blade and set shepherd on these men. We also suffered under hunger. 1 bread for 6 people, now and then butter, thin soup twice a day. That was all we got. Many became weak, then sick, and died in droves.
One of the most feared epidemics was typhus fever, which was passed on by lice. As a preventive measure to avoid an outbreak of these epidemics, the prisoners were forced to go through the delousing. The prisoners were told to take off their clothes, which were treated in a special room with hot air. When they were forced to shave off their body hair after taking a hot shower, the prisoners had no choice to decide if they would like to shave their hair.